This issue before us is one of the greatest challenges, in my view, that South Louisiana, and the Gulf Coast has faced in a long time. And we have got to find a solution for it very quickly. Because of new laws and some administrative action on the part of FEMA, there are thousands of people in our state, thousands of homeowners, businesses, commercial properties, realtors, and bankers at great risk because of the policies that are coming out of Washington, D.C. So our delegation is united across party lines, geographic lines, to work with our partners in other states to find some immediate solutions. That's what today was about, looking for solutions. But we're going to ask them to delay as much of that law as possible because of the catastrophic consequences that are going to occur to many of our people.
First of all, will the administration delay unworkable parts of Biggert-Waters? There was no forecast before of not just rate increases, but completely catastrophically unaffordable rate increases. We now know that parts of that are unworkable. The President just delayed a major part of Obamacare for that reason. FEMA is delaying the very study on affordability that's in Biggert-Waters. So the first question is, will the administration delay these parts of Biggert-Waters that would cause not just any rate increase, but catastrophically unaffordable rate increases?
We are united in fixing this problem. Biggert-Waters, as it came to be, you actually had Maxine Waters on the House floor saying catastrophic rate increases was never something that was anticipated when she helped pass the law that has her name. And so when we were flying over some of these communities that are behind flood protection systems, as we were looking at an oil refinery that produces gasoline and other products for our country, we're also looking at the houses that house the workers for those refineries. And those people, if they get a $20,000 bill from FEMA for flood insurance policy, it's just not sustainable. It's not something they're going to be able to pay. So if FEMA thinks that this is going to help get to actuary rates, you're literally going to be forcing people out of their houses. And so there's got to be a workable way.
Fundamentally, this is about families. Not about second homes, vacation homes built on the coast with disposable income, but about people who do work in these factories, people who are trying to send their kids to better schools, create a better future for future generations. And as I think Parish President Rowbottom pointed out, for some of these families, they don't have the extra income to pay these higher premiums. If these are priced in such a way they can no longer afford, it actually undermines the National Flood Insurance Program. Families will have to do without flood insurance in order to make their other bills. And so there is kind of someone called it a catch-22. We're going to make it actuarially sound on the backs of working class families who can't afford to do it, so therefore we are going to undermine the program by pricing them out of participation. This is ultimately about families. And so we can meet on the common ground of using good science to find out what truly is a family's risk, but never lose sight of the fact that if we don't do this right, that family will have no choice but to not participate. At that point, that oil being produced in St. Charles Parish is not going to Pennsylvania. And I can go down the list. The boat being built in Terrebonne and Lafourche is not supporting the industry. This goes beyond our community, but most importantly, it goes to families and how working families of Louisiana support the rest of the country.
I've learned a lot, and a lot of it from the parish presidents about the uniqueness of the area, how it's going to affect families as we walk through this.
I've been parish president for 5 years, and this is the most united I've ever seen our congressional people. When they found out in March what the impact of Biggert was going to have, they immediately went to work, got together, crossed party lines, and working for our people. But let's be honest, and the reason why we're standing here today is the failure of the Corps of Engineers when an engineering error occurred on the 17th Street Canal. If we wouldn't be standing here today, that didn't happen. And part of the driving force of Biggert-Waters is because of Hurricane Katrina. I don't think it's fair for our people. I don't think it's fair for the federal government to ask our people who had nothing to do with the increase in rates to help board this astronomical rates. In my parish alone, it's gone from $655 a year to $25,000. these people have built up equities in their home, and some of these people can use that to put a second mortgage on their house to send their kids to college. That all goes away. They got to walk away from it. It becomes a ghost town. Parish government suffers, hospital suffers, school board suffers, fire department suffers. It's just a trickle-down effect. So this is a very issue that we have to stop. I think we're in the right direction. We got a long way to go. And
we've been through many hurricanes and an oil spill. This bill will have a greater impact on coastal Louisiana than all of those put together. We pulled ourselves up from the hurricanes and from the oil spill. This will destroy coastal Louisiana. Also, we've got to educate the rest of the country. As we heard today, and thank you so much for this trip, other areas of the country want it to be self-sufficient. So do we. They don't know what's coming. California doesn't know. New York and the rest of the country, all states have flooding. We need to educate them to get on board to change this horrible law.
And that what has been passed will be detrimental to our communities. I'm from St. John the Baptist Parish, and our communities are attempting to recover now. They're still trying to get back into their homes. And if they are forced to pay premiums that we predict will come about, they will not be back in their homes. Our community cannot be restored, and that will happen throughout the country.
But when we went up to Washington in May, we talked to the actual staffers who helped write the bill for Congresswoman Waters. And they said that y'all are the first group we've heard anything about. We didn't know there was any problem with this legislation. We all know with legislation there are unintended consequences. And we said at that time, we may be the first group, but we're not going to be the last. This is not just a Southeast Louisiana issue. It's not just a Louisiana issue. It's a national issue. And Billy stole my line, but this, if allowed to go unchecked and unamended, will be more devastating than every storm we've been through, including Katrina and since Katrina, and even the BP oil spill. Because this is going to ruin our local economies. This is going to destroy home ownership. It's going to have an effect on the real estate market, the banking industry, and ultimately on local government. Relies on these tax revenues when those properties' values go up and when those properties can't be sold, when people can't afford to insure those properties. So we're at a major crossroads here. Don't even know what's coming on that track. So I think what we need to do is take a step back, give us time to work it out. None of us want any handout. We all agree it needs to be sustainable, but as I said in the room, it is going to be a catch-22. Because if this goes allowed, unchecked and unamended, it won't achieve that goal of sustainability. In fact, it will have the opposite effect.
But what we need right now is more information, real data that we can take to the rest of the country, because believe me, when they hear what's coming, they're going to be just as upset, just as worried as we are about their homes. So we will keep asking for all the information, because the worst thing we can do is give out false information and then lose our credibility. We want to take the facts to other parts of the country so they join us and let you know how serious it is to all of us.
Can you imagine what our problem is? Our problem is, first, it's not just a Louisiana issue, which a lot of people think it is. Y'all heard some of these guys. California don't know. I bet you the Missouri Valley, the Mississippi Valley, they don't really know. Our job here is to educate the people across these 50 states. They need to get on board, because a lot of their own residences and, of course, commercial and small businesses don't really know and will be affected.
I mean, if it's so important to them, what is the problem so they understand what's going on?
But when FEMA gets around to rolling out new maps for their area, they're going to be as mad as we are. And we don't have the good data from FEMA of what actually those numbers are. So all we can do is go around the country and scare the hell out of them, like the people of Louisiana are. And if we do that, maybe we'll get enough votes in Congress to change this thing once and for all. And it's up to us. That's why I said we got to take a road trip.
If I can address that too. My staff can get you a map of all the claims in the congressional districts across the country past this prologue. You can look at a district which has had a lot of FEMA claims or National Flood Insurance Program claims. Their rates are about to go up. They just don't know it. And so if you want to see that, you can. And you can see, for example, Pennsylvania is one of the states that's had the most claims. And so you can go up to North Dakota or any place in the upper Missouri Valley and see where there's a lot of claims. Past is prologue. It's just that we're a leader in this issue. It's important for us to work with FEMA to hopefully get it right here, so then it's right for everyone else.
But besides that, you know, our people have been through storm after storm, and I want to say, and I told you this on the helicopter, and Mark was there, we have retreated as far as we're going to retreat. We're not retreating any further. Every storm for 200 years, our people have moved from Grand Isle to back up to West Wego. That's how people got to West Wego, because they fled from the coast. And then after the next storm, we moved north. I'm telling you, we're not going anymore. We are here, and we're going to build sustainably, and we are not going to take this risk on ourselves. Because, A, your program will bankrupt because we'll all leave it and you'll bankrupt anyway. We can't afford to be in it the way we have it organized, and it's just not fair. And sometimes in this world we have to make things fit. Amen?